Hello, everyone. It is Monday, August 1st, if you can believe it, and we're here for the Dojo Live recap show. My name is Kim Lantis, airing from one of Ancora's offices in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. And joining me is America Guerrero in Mexico
Hey,
City. Hey, America.
good morning.
Good morning. How was your weekend? Good?
Oh, it was crazy. We drove to Aguascalientes. It was a 12 hours trip
That
driving.
that
Yeah,
is quite a trip. One way
yeah.
or both?
Both. Like,
Okay, so 6 hours and
uh
6 hours.
exactly.
All right. Well, I got to go to the beach, so nee.
Mm.
But the purpose of today's show is to recap the amazing shows that we had last week. To encourage you, viewers, if you didn't get to catch them live, you can catch them at our website, dojo.live. And we're just going to talk about what we thought to give you some more encouragement. So the two shows that we had, well, we actually had three shows, but the two shows with guests were Gil Arush, who is the CEO and founder of Metadata, and he talked about helping B2B marketers automate paid campaigns. And we also got to speak with Anton Pleshivstev, who is the VP of engineering at Bravado. And that was all about the challenges of small engineering teams. And finally, on Friday, we got to have a panel, the second of our People Matters panel, where we talked about accessibility and the future of tech. We did have a guest outside of Ancora with that show as well. That was Jennifer Purcell, who is with Gameboard. And joining us were Stefania Anaya and Fermin Chavez of Ancora. So, yes, let's talk first about Gil's show and Metadata. What did you think about that one? Helping B2B marketers automate paid campaigns.
I think that they really have an innovative tool for B2B marketers. What they do is that they eliminate manual and repetitive work for B2B
Mm-hmm.
marketers, so you can focus on a strategy and to be creative, so you don't need to wait 3 or 4 months to use your sequence and see if there is going to be any results. So you have that information earlier and you can focus just in the creative side. I really
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, I think what blew my mind away with this one was scale. And I think it's more for marketing than it is for
For
sales.
sales. Yeah, you're right.
But there's the automation side and the artificial intelligence side, so that they're able to like do something as simple as let's make the call to action button purple instead of pink and see what happens. And just this explosion of variation that can just exponential quantities that a human really wouldn't even be capable of doing. And I thought that his perspective was really great too, because it helps us, like you were mentioning, analyze the data, right? It's not just about maybe how many clicks or how many views you got, but which ones are actually converting into the real data that we care
The
about. And that
effective
is
ones.
a close, right? A sale. And so I thought it was interesting. They're really on the forefront of what is marketing operation systems. So if you are a marketer out there and you're looking to speed that up and just see the possibilities being endless, you certainly want to check out Metadata.io. The second show was with Anton Pleshivstev, the VPE of engineering at Bravado. He was kind enough to join us all the way from Armenia. I think it was like 11:30
Yeah.
p.m. When he was speaking to us. So that's awesome. That's certainly some insight into his character as well. And he spoke about his engineering team. What did you think about that show?
First of all, he talk about the social network that is for salespeople. So I I found
That
out
is Bravado,
fascinating,
right?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
bravado. So it's not like LinkedIn. You can find a salesperson, for example, for your team, but there are going to be specific filters for the specific
Mm-hmm.
verticals, or if you want to know if that person, that candidate has the skill for closing deals in the software industry, you will find that information there. And that it was great. And the culture that they have, he mentioned that they are worldwide and they have this remote centric
Yeah,
structure instead of remote friendly. And he
yeah.
explained the difference.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the centric versus friendly was something that stood out in my mind too. And that was
Yeah.
something that he was mentioning that really helps them being successful and being able to continuously build, even though their engineering team is on the smaller side.
Exactly.
And something that was unique about him and the tidbits that he was throwing out there was and probably, utilizing a tool like Bravado, even though it's for sales, people like on the engineering side is really sort of trying to find unicorns in a way, right? So like ideally, like there's maybe like there's six maybe different types of roles you might have in an engineering team, right? From project management, scrum master, quality assurance, to front end, back end, and other components, right? And he's like, well, what if you get individuals who are able to do all of those? And maybe finding a 6-in-1 is a near possible task. But his postulation is, what if you find a 2-in-1, a 3-in-1, a 4-in-1? And so that's the strategy that they're utilizing to be effective with smaller engineering teams. And I think that the company culture really leans heavily into that. Like you mentioned, remote centric. Also really big on the transparency side, which is something that they sort of built in from the very beginning. And he's a big reader. He had a suggested reading for us. I love it when guests do that. His suggested reading out there, folks, was Radical Candor by Kim Scott, helping you to become more transparent across your team, providing that feedback, even negative feedback, I think, which can be sometimes awkward to share and difficult to hear. But a really good read, especially for them as they're working extremely cross-culturally, right? They've got lots of different individuals from all over the world, and some of the strategies that he's using to make that work. And then finally, we had our second People Matters, our focus of diversity, equity, and inclusion here at Dojo Live. Last month, we talked about LGBT and tech, and this month it was accessibility, the future of tech, celebrating Disability Pride Month in July. And so what did you think about that one, America?
I learned a lot. I'm not a
Yeah.
user, I'm not a UI UX designer, I'm not a head of product, but I never realized how important accessibility is for the user experience. So, an interface, sorry. And there were three perspectives. One from Stephanie that she had this they provide a hardware and a software. And then it was for me who also is in this UI UX research perspective. And then we have no, that's Stefania.
Jennifer. No,
Jennifer. Ah, no, that's
you said I think you said
I switched
Stephania's name, but
names.
you were meaning Jennifer.
Sorry, girls. Sorry that I did
Yeah.
that. So it was really interesting how important it is accessibility and how you can make questions when you're designing or developing a product, or what are the methods that you can use, and go to basics. You maybe you cannot cover everything for everybody, but you can start with this mentality, you can start with this mindset, and you can improve with technology. I thought that it was amazing that they shared their experiences, their backgrounds, some examples. Don't miss the show if you have the possibility to watch it.
Yeah, a really good show with some great experts in their fields, no doubt. And just really how accessibility is that competitive edge in anything, but
Yeah.
particularly in tech, seeing as how tech is the way of the future in and of itself, and needing to make tech more accessible, right? I learned that 25% of adults in the United States have some type of a disability. And so not only is there this human side of wanting to, make everything as accessible as possible to everyone, but there really is a business component to that as well, right? The broader you're able to open your client base, the better that will be for you. And also laws are making sure that this is something that companies have to pay attention to. So get on top of it, watch the show, and let's get more accessible. Now we got 1 minute to introduce this week's shows that are coming up. What are they?
Tomorrow we're going to have a show with John Artens. Artens? Am I saying correctly?
I think
You're
it's
mute.
yeah, I think his name is Yan. It's
Jan?
actually pronounced Yan, and the last name is Arentz, I
Arends,
believe.
yeah, sure. So he is the CEO at Celigo, and we're going to talk about automating the enterprise through integration of applications and data. That is going to
Mm-hmm.
be tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have another show, and this is going to be with Tim Suchitnek. Suchitnek. I will learn that on Wednesday, I'm sure.
Sukanek, maybe.
Sukanek, yeah.
We'll go with
Let's
that.
tell it. Exactly. And we're going to talk about the age revolution just started. It's going to be a really interesting topic, and it's going to be on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific as well.
Yeah. See you at noon. Bye for now.
Bye.